We were able to make the purchase last fall. All the materials started coming in the spring, around spring break. As we were getting things set up, we wanted to make sure we set it up with intentionality. And so we only opened it to students beginning in August of 2022. We worked with our occupational therapist, and it came about just because of COVID relief funds. And we were seeing that there was a huge need that kids had, whether it was to regulate themselves in the classroom, just high anxiety, high stress. And as adults, sometimes we need to leave our environment and take a breath and just start over and have a fresh start. And we were seeing that a lot in kids, especially kids who were, stressed out with the masks, and the masks were freaking them out. Or just coming back to school, even having been on remote. It was just giving those kids a space to make school feel more like a home, feel more like a safe space for them.
It has made such a difference just having that space for our kids to go. We have a couple of kids who work really hard to stay in class, and so knowing that they have planned breaks coming up on their visual schedules also helps them immensely, knowing that I can hang on just for 5 more minutes because I know I get to go to the sensory room soon.
With a lot of the older kids, specifically our students that might be diagnosed with autism and are easily stressed in overstimulating, louder environments, with some of our larger classes, instead of taking a step out to go take a walk or go get a drink, where their stress and anxiety is typically heightened in the hallway or on display for others to see, we're teaching them that coping skill of, go to a private space, just take a deep breath. They can use the tools that were purchased for that room. They're always with a para, they're always with an adult in that room, so they are supervised. But as an adult, we always have coping skills that we use, and so getting to teach that now prior to going to high school, we're seeing students learn how to regulate themselves in an age-appropriate way.
What we do a lot of times does have to deal with de-escalation, where our students are kind of elevated when they go in there, and so we also use that room for social skills, to do social stories and that kind of thing in a different environment so that they're not singled out when they're in the classroom. We really use that room a lot to keep kids calm.
One of the favorite features that I've seen my kids love is the swinging chair. There's something about that rocking motion that it just automatically de-escalates them, which is really fun. Plus it's a chair that they don't have in any other classroom in the school. So you can get to feel a little bit of excitement getting to use something that other people aren't always allowed to use.
We have a bean bag in there that has vibration. They really love that, and they love the fidgets. So fidgets are small toys that they can use in their hands to kind of help keep them distracted while they're talking. And that really kind of allows us to ask kind of deeper questions when we're doing some of the social stories.
I think one of the other really cool features is just the options of weighted blankets that we have. We have weighted blankets for younger kids that are the appropriate weight, and then bigger blankets for older kids. But we also have weighted lap desks. So if it's something that they are escalated for a period of time, they can bring their work in with them and use some of those weighted options and still complete their work, even though they're maybe not in class.
At the primary level, which is kindergarten through 2nd grade, we have kids who don't always have the appropriate social skills with their peers. So what we really like to do is use that room as an alternate way to get out the wiggles, and it allows those students to stay in school. It allows them to have more access to education, and that room actually is one of the most important rooms in the building, because when we have calm kids who know how to function and know how to express their needs and wants, then we have a much easier way of educating them.
One kid in specific that I'm thinking of, he actually struggles with anxiety on a daily basis. He is diagnosed with autism. It's actually a part of his daily schedule, a part of his middle school schedule, that he gets a certain amount of time in this room every day just to gather himself, collect himself, and just re-regulate prior to being escalated. So I think that's one of the important things that we use it for, is we don't just use it when kids are upset. We don't just use it when they're in crisis. We use it as a prevention tool, not just putting a fire out.
Even though it's a small room, it's made a lot of impact.